Let me start with a slightly provocative question. What if the UK has almost unwittingly found itself in about the best position it could be vis-à-vis Donald Trump and his tariffs, and done it basically by mistake? That sounds like it's slightly strange, but let me just talk you through it. And the first thing you really need to know about this is that if there's one thing Donald Trump really hates, it is trade deficits. What's a deficit? It's when your imports are much bigger than your exports, and that's certainly the case for the United States. There you can see the imports, they are much bigger than the exports, and as a result, there is that deficit. And if you break it down, so look at where are those goods actually coming from or indeed going to, look, when it comes to imports, the majority of them, pretty much half actually, when you look at this, nearly half, come from Canada, Mexico, and China. So no surprises as to whether those were the countries which we're focused on. But here's what's interesting, OK? So now look at other countries and their deficits with the US. These bars are showing you how much the deficits are with the US. Anything in this kind of pink territory means the US does have a deficit with them. So look, there's China, there's the EU, there's Mexico, and Canada is somewhere there as well. Anything in the blue means there is no deficit with the US. And these are the countries that Donald Trump is really focusing on. And here's why this matters for the UK. First of all, obviously, as we all know, the UK is no longer part of the EU. So if there were to be tariffs on the EU, that wouldn't directly affect the UK. Secondly, well, look where the UK is. It's over here. And there is, at least according to the US figures, there is no deficit with the UK. Worth saying, though, OK, so those are the US figures. If you look at the UK's kind of same version of the same statistic, actually the UK bar is a little bit further down. And in fact, it's slightly in that negative territory. But even so, it's relatively small. So Donald Trump won't be looking at the UK and saying, gosh, that deficit is too big. The other reason why the UK might well be in this good position is that while other countries around the world, including the US, Canada, India, Turkey, many other countries have already imposed extra tariffs on China, the UK so far has not. These are tariffs on electric vehicles. And so in the event of a trade negotiation, the UK could just say, look, maybe we'll actually impose those tariffs. So for all of those reasons, actually, Britain isn't in that bad a position to do a deal potentially with the US, to negotiate, or maybe to be that bridge with Europe. But of course, with Donald Trump, you really just never know.